Hi everyone, welcome for this new weekly community show. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you so very much for joining the show. A special thanks to each and every one of you, and to you that are watching the show on YouTube, a special thanks to you as well. Do not hesitate to like, subscribe, and do all the stuff you usually do on YouTube, and to leave a comment, why not? Today in this show, I am alone. I do not have a special guest, and I do have a fewer information to share. However, I have quite some exciting things from the community to discuss about. So let's get started. So like I was saying, today I am alone in the community show, but I will be talking to you about different points. The first one being the newsletter, which I always read every community show. So we're just going to read that together. Then there's a little hotfix to speak about. And then, and last but not least, I would like to speak with you about several community news that I find interesting. Here we go. So we do have a little hotfix for May the 7th. So it's not going to take a long time, right? Reduce the number of basilisk scale required for the Ballad of the Mary 5 quest from 6 to 3. We did receive some feedback related to this quest on Discord actually, and I did report it to the team, so it has been hotfixed immediately. So I don't remember your name, but you who made that feedback, you see? It's changed now, and it should not be too annoying for the next players. Fixed a few missed exceptions, and we are investigating an issue where some players are getting stuck at 95% requesting character. If this happens, we suggest restarting the entire client. Don't just relog in, and send me your logs. Both Embers Adrift log and Embers Adrift prev log found in the launcher directory /client/live. Send them via PM here or on Discord with relevant information. Thanks. So help us to find a bug and to make it stop. So thank you for everyone which is actively doing reports or giving feedback. As a reminder, the best way, the most efficient way to give a report is to do it in-game by /report at the location where the event happened. May it be a quest that is bugged or a stuck spot or whatever it might be. But you can also share some feedback on reports if you don't want to start a discussion on Discord or on the forum. So if you want to share some private feedback, you can do it that way as well. However, if you want to discuss with other players about ideas or suggestions or feedback you want to do or something you don't like in the game, for example, the best way is, of course, to open discussion either on the forum or on Discord in the feedback section. Those discussions are being read. Last but not least, we have a weekly meeting on Discord with the community on the voice chat. Adrift is joining me every week. So if you want to speak directly with me or with Adrift, this is the best moment. It's of course not fitting every person because it happened pretty late. If you're European, it's probably way too late. It's in the middle of the night. If you're Australian, it's probably a little too early for you. But if you have the possibility to join, do not hesitate. Those meetings are very precious. I cannot say it more often than that. It's the occasion to discuss directly with Adrift and myself. Well, Adrift is more important because it's actually developing things while I don't. But if you have a discussion about classes, about itemization, about mobs, about respawn, about those kind of problem, Adrift is the right person to discuss with. So if you want to open those type of discussion, we can directly discuss them with you. You can have an answer directly and have a discussion with the other player and with Adrift, understand better why we're doing things and suggesting ideas that maybe will inspire us to do different things in the game. Those discussions that happen with the community are directly reported to our team meeting. So everything that has been discussed during the community meeting is being discussed during the team meeting. So you are 100% guaranteed that your feedback, your discussion will be discussed afterwards. So this is really the best moment to discuss anything you will want to discuss with the team. So take advantage of this and join the community meeting. It's every Wednesday. You need to check out on the Discord event to see exactly the time with your time zone. But join us, and it's also nice to socialize. State of the game, mail, maps, and more. Come enjoy our free-to-play trial in Embers Adrift. Play as long as you want in our trials area and see how our MMORPG brings classic MMORPG style into the modern MMO market. Don't forget to get a group and head into the Central Veins dungeons for a memorable experience. And I cannot underline this more. Join with a friend and see how our game is. Team up with other player, because it's really when you're playing with other player that the very specific style of gameplay that we offer with Embers Adrift take all its sense. We have done everything we could to improve the solo experience, but the core of the game, the heart of the game, the soul of the game is group play. So if you're trying the game, even if you are trial and it's the first time and you don't have any friends, try to team up with other player. You will see that it is a world of difference. We have a lot of new and exciting additions to Embers Adrift to talk about this newsletter, so make sure to take a peep at the new stuff section below. If it's the first time you're hearing about Embers Adrift, it is a challenge-driven MMORPG where players can experience over 1,000 hours of entertainment on a single character, with quests that have multiple outcomes, hundreds of rare mobs and thousands of rare quest items, and a steady stream of new content coming out on a steady schedule. It's never been easier to find long-term entertainment at a great price, and you can try it for free. Check out the instruction at the end of the newsletter for detail. Bring your friends, speak about it around you, they can try the game for free. If you're interested in supporting an indie studio dev, If you're interested in supporting indie dev studio, you can support us by buying the game for yourself or for a friend and maintaining your optional subscription as time goes on. You can also purchase a month of subscription perks for your friends who may not have an active subscription. We also have a merchandise shop and a soundtrack if you would like to support us in other way. The merchandise shops is for yourself, it's not for your character. We do not have microtransaction or cash shop. As a small company trying to go against the grain by not focusing on maximum monetization of our player base, we want to say a huge thank you to our subscribers. Your support is very much appreciated. Yes, once again, thank you guys, because without you, we will probably not be here anymore. So thanks. Look at this, that's the new stuff coming in. Look at those two guys with their big mustache. New stuff! Great news! Along with a slew of other improvements, we have 5 new quests for players to enjoy with this update. We have been sitting on quite a few quests while we implemented the bulletin board system and the mail system, and now we are finally able to be back into quest implementation. This is the first wave of quests we have for you. The Ballad of the Merry Five follow the tales of 5 stalwart adventurers and help to mend their rupture. The Cordian Heresy, a quest from a Cordian? So dangerous. The Legacy of House Hans. Heirlooms can be tricky, especially between brothers. A puzzling inheritance. Do you like riddles? Into the Drift, an introductory quest for players about Embers Adrift. No, Embers Adrift, sorry. So that's a tutorial quest. As mentioned before, we have been hard at work on a mail system which has been highly requested feature. It allows players to more easily trade with one another through the cash on delivery feature. Player can attach an item to a piece of mail and send it at no charge to the recipient, or with a cost attached to the recipient will need to pay before they can get the item. Items being sent through the mail do carry a fee. The consortium claim its insurance. They have graciously put the agent and Raven to work to bring this feature to Drifter and are making a pretty bit of coin through it. See our patch notes for more details. We have added new map features. Before this update, you could only view the map of the region you were currently in, but now you can look at any region you have discovered and at a world map. The world map can be accessed by right-clicking or by clicking the globe button on the map interface. Additionally, you can access any region you have discovered by clicking on its label or via a drop-down menu in the map interface. What is more, if you're standing near an Ember monolith used for fast travel teleportation, you can simply click to teleport to another Ember monolith in the world or an Ember ring in your current region, making the traveling process much smoother. See patch notes for more info. Speaking of the teleportation system, the alchemists at the Academy of Embers in New Haven City have made a huge breakthrough. They found a way to create a taproot of one of the Ember monoliths. To better understand the monolith system, Aloysius Amedicus gave a brief explanation. So here you have a bit of lore. All things contain Ember essence and are affected by Ember. The Vehura men of old found a way to tap into the Ember properties of certain trees with massive root system. They embedded an Ember beacon atop a pillar of those trees after severing the trunk high up to act as a source of power. Then, by placing nails through certain area of the tree, they were able to cut off a desired pathway. Once the desired pathway were established, they seem to have petrified those trees, turning them into permanent monoliths scattered across the north. How they managed to convert a human into pure Ember essence, send them through a root system and recapitulate them at the other end is still a mystery to us. If we can discover that, we could possibly create our own Ember monoliths. Though they cannot yet make their own Ember monolith, the Academy was able to create a sort of prototype after the same model. As it is not connected to any root system, it cannot send Ember essence anywhere. But by chance, this prototype does process Ember essence into something that can now only be used by the Ember transport system. They are calling it Travel Essence. For a nominal fee, a drifter can use this device to convert their current essence into Travel Essence while still being able to fill the Ember Stone with the normal amount of Ember Essence used in other alchemical machinations. Those are but a taste of what we have accomplished in this patch. We are moving speedily along our roadmap, and you can take a look at the image below to see some of the major features we have knocked off of the list so far this year. More are coming down the pipe close on the heel for May too. Stay tuned to see what comes next. You can find the patch notes or go check out Elloa's trailer for this patch too and give it a like and subscribe. As we iterate from patch to patch, adjusting current content and adding new content, we are asking our community to keep the feedback coming and to please be patient with us as we make adjustments. Thank you all. And here you can see the world map. Alright, after that you will have the roadmap. Here you can see everything we have been doing. Like immediate priority, we have done the free trial, the secret stuff, which was the PvP arena, the EV solo loop, the bulletin board. So we still have some community initiative, new encounter tech and Unity 2022, which is pending. So in the long-term priority, we have done the equipment categorization and the mail system. So we still have plenty of stuff to do, of course, this year. Normally, next month, we should have the Tri-Foot Fortress. Some new creatures that are inside the Dryfoot Fortress and discover the other. And of course, some more armor. Alright, these are the instructions to do the free trial. I'm not reading that because we have read it in the previous newsletter. So that's it for all of that. Okay. I'm going to answer a few questions. So Cyanide is asking, will an auction house or a kind of marketplace to sell or buy stuff while you are idle or offline be a feature in the future? It is very possible. We have accomplished the first step, which was the mail system. So this will probably not being developed right away, but this is something that will be next on our list. So definitively. And you will see a little bit later why. Flubit is saying, not likely as things, but I do personally hope that the trade channel post can hit a Discord feed one day. Yeah, that's something different. Antrix is saying, Levi posted a buy sell option suggestion that Mantis came up with that most of the people I play with really liked. Hope Def look into it. Well, I didn't want to spoil it, but I'm going to share with you a specific area where you can share this kind of feedback. Blinding Grain is asking, so we are going to get short-term priorities completed before immediate. Where is the spawn tech? So the reason why we do have some long-term things or short-term things, well, why are we not respecting very carefully the order of the priorities in the roadmap? Well, that's simply because sometimes there's a possibility of adding something, a feature is kind of ready, or there's an inspiration, that breakthrough, so we're working on that instead of working on some of the most short-term feature. Well, it's not really that we are doing it instead of, but more that it's becoming ready faster. Like, we have found the ID or we have found the system to finally do it. So we're just going straight fully into it. Our team is very much working with inspiration and tinkering. So that's really two things that I don't know how the other teams in development are working, but our team work like that. So one day Undone will have a breakthrough, for example. He has suddenly an ID and is going to work the whole night on it. We do have people that are working that way. They have suddenly an ID and they are doing the task that they were setting up for later, but they are just finishing through because they are getting into it. I guess that anyone that are working on stuff can understand those kind of things that caught you suddenly. We are a very small team, therefore we are also very dependent of how every individual are reacting to the workflow and stuff like that. So that's why you have things that are not specifically in the right order. You can tell that Drindin, which created the roadmap, carefully is like, guys, but you're not respecting the roadmap. But that's how it is. We're not going to keep the mail system waiting because we have say on the roadmap that we were doing that things first. So sometimes it's going to be mixed up a little bit. So I hope that this is not something that is particularly annoying. Does that mean that we are not working on the other stuff? Of course, we're still working on it. So it's being worked on. Yes, so what Flubit and Zig are saying related to the Discord thing, I'm not sure if we can do it easily, but maybe why not? Zig is saying Discord has a weird effect of pulling some of the social aspect of the game outside of the game. I don't really think there's really any way to avoid that, but it would be great for coordinating group and trading when you can be in game. Yeah, that's exactly what I try to do with Discord. My goal with Discord is to use it as a way for people that are not in game to continue to be active in the community, and which is why I have added the LFG channel and the trade channel, so people could organize themselves when they are not in game as well, and they can continue to communicate when they are at work or something like that. I really try to have Discord like the offline section of Embers Adrift, where you can still stay in connection with the community. So maybe the way I treat it is more like the central hub. I know that every guild will do that, but I think that the guilds in Embers Adrift, because we're such a small community, are almost secondary. And so it's more important to really build up the community from a more global point of view. So I really try to do those channels to help out the community to build itself and to organize itself. I'm not sure if people are really using it fully. But I try to show the example by, for example, when I set up groups, to always message in the Discord channel as well, to warn people, you know, guys, I'm going to set up some groups. And I would recommend you to do that as well. If you want to do some groups, I really try to make it a habit for the community to communicate via Discord, because you cannot always be in game, you cannot always be in the game online, and sometimes if you have difficulty to find a group, you maybe have some reluctance to get online. But if you are seeing, oh, there's a group for my level that is being organized on Discord, then it might make you want to try to log in, even if you had not planned to do that night. Next month, if everything happened well, we can always have a setback, so be warned about that. But for this month's patch, at the end of the month, we're planning to have the Dry Food Fortress. I cannot still speak about the level range exactly, but it should have 2 different level range into this fortress. But it will not be the only thing that we are planning to add. But that's the biggest thing. So you will have new creator, new armor, in a full new dungeon in the Dry Food Fortress. But we are planning to add also some extra quests as well, I think. Antrix is saying, I try to be online 24/7, but I find it kind of hard. It's like my body wants to sleep, and I don't like it. Yeah. Slabag guy is saying, soloing XP is way better than before. Definitively worth doing if you can. Great group. Yeah, we have really been trying to smooth the solo experience, not to take away from the grouping experience, because we still want this game to be a group-centered game, but we want the player to be motivated to stay in the game the time they not. So basically, we want to avoid the player to get discouraged because it's 30 minutes they are online and they did not manage to find a group. So we want to help the player to stay longer online, doing solo stuff that are meaningful and fun to do, and that allows them to progress a character. And during that time, hopefully there will be a group starting up, or they will be finding other player to play with. So what we really trying is to extend the relevance of playing by yourself while you're setting up a group, because we believe that it will help player to set up group rather than, oh, I cannot make a group, I'm logging off. So we're really trying to do everything we can to encourage that and to help the grouping. Annoying Lama is asking, are there any works to expand the in-game magic system in the future? So right now we are not working on it, but at some point we will. We have been talking about the alchemy tree, which will be one step further. So alchemy 1, it's not make the difference between alchemy 1 and alchemy 2 in your abilities. That's not it. The phase 1 for alchemy 1, it's when the Academy of New Heaven have been studying the Ember, but barely. Oh, there is Ember Drift. Oh, there is Ember Monolith. Oh, we can travel from monoliths to monoliths and to monolith to embering. We can have an Ember Stone and you can gather some essence. That was phase 1. In phase 2, the Academy of New Heaven have discovered the way of using your Ember Essence to be able to use alchemy and to recreate this sort of prototype that you can use to create travel essence. So that you can consider as phase 2. And at some point, the Academy of New Heaven will go one step further in their study and mastery of the Ember essence, of the Ember phenomenon, and how it will translate to. Our idea was it will affect the way you are using alchemy, of course. Hello, Niblock. Where's my fire mage? Yeah, it's together with your lighting mage and your frost mage. Somewhere in another game. That's where they are. So for anyone watching, Annoying Lama was asking, do you have any idea to expand the free trial to North Haven so they can get this subclass? And I feel like it will get more people to enjoy Embers, and the main cap should be their magic system. So we have decided that we will limit intentionally the free trial to the New Haven Valley into New Haven City, and to keep the North Wall as a literal paywall. You have the occasion of really trying Embers Adrift in New Haven Valley. We are offering a lot of content for free. We have not a lot of possibility of monetize our game. We do not have any microtransaction. Like I was saying earlier, most MMORPG that are free or that have extensive free trial and no monthly subs, they are focusing heavily on the microtransaction. And when I say heavily, I don't mean it's pay to win, but it's still, you really have a very heavy focus on the microtransaction and cosmetic item in a cash shop, because that's how players pay the game. So not every player will pay for the game, but there will be a big, large community of players that are loyal to the game and that play it very often, that will spend a lot of money into the cash shop, and they will spend much more money than a monthly sub will be. We have decided to not go into the microtransaction system because we don't like the direction the industry have taken with those microtransactions. This is something we are very convinced about. We are not doing it. We are shooting ourselves in the feet by not doing it, but we do believe in this idea and that ideal. So it is a little bit idealist, right? We're really going against the trends in the industry here intentionally. So we cannot offer too much. There is a point where the player needs to admit, okay, did I like this game? All right, well, I'm buying it. And the North Wall was the thing that made the most sense from a gameplay point of view, but also from a lore point of view. Beyond the North Wall, you have to purchase the game. If you want to try a class, you have to purchase the game. Until then, you can try and can test out if you like it or not. But after that, now you need to pay for the game. Yeah, a lot of people will pay for any kind of stupid things, but as you understand, may it be a new mustache or a tattoo or more bank space or fastest teleportation or more character slot or any kind of things, we have received plenty of ID related to microtransaction or a cloak. I will buy it. Yeah, but we don't think it's a good idea. It's really a question of ideally here. It's a question of ethic. We don't want to do it, and we are not going to do it. We are very much, the whole team agree about that. We are absolutely not going to add microtransaction in our game. May it be cosmetic or not cosmetic or services, we are not going to do it. I will pay $10 for some more boss. Well, the question here, Blinding Grain, is that we need to work on those bosses. So that's dev time, and we can still not clone our devs. And even with $10, we will still not be able to clone our devs, unfortunately. So we're doing our best on that regard. We want to add more bosses for free for you. Your money is not going to change things. Yeah, Antrix, this is not something we own. So it's a service we are using for the merchant shops, right? That sell T-shirts and caps and mugs with the Embers Adrift logo on it. So it's not our shop. It's a shop that does that for any brand, and that we are using the service of, because we will not be capable to have our own production of T-shirt, obviously, as you can imagine. Therefore, that's probably a limitation of that system, that shop. It's not really something we have control about. Flabit were saying, I posted a suggestion concerning a better method of bug recovery. I know two players that have partially left the game because they endured multiple bug recovery from internet outage after depth while deep in a dungeon, logging on the next time facing a catastrophic time sink, sometimes requiring hours of time. Yeah, I get that. This is something that usually the solution for that is to set up a group with friends and have your friends helping you to gather your bag. But I realize that it's not always easy. And the worst case will be when you are alone into the dungeon, and it's not so much that you have lost your bag, but it's you are lost in the depth of the dungeon. All those kind of things, it's stuff we are thinking about, and we're trying to find good solution that can be addressed without being exploitable. So it is things we have in mind. So, but I have seen your post. So Annoying Llama is asking, any ideas on getting the words out on Embers Adrift? We're still doing our job with social media and YouTube and Twitch. But at this point, that's about it. We are limited in time also because social media is taking, it's a time sink. As a content creator, you probably know very well how much of a time thing it is. Yeah. All right, so let's get to the community news. So the community news, I would like to talk about several things. First, we were speaking about the auctionals earlier. Here it's a post where I have been, where I want to gather all of the feedback related to the trade system. It might not be an auction house. So here you have the message. Dear community, with the April patch 2024, we introduce our mail system. You can now send mail to your friends, including attachment and cash on delivery, which should ease trading between players. This is our first step to a possible trade system, such as an auction house, job board, bazaar, consignment shop, etc. This is the perfect time for you to advocate for your favorite trade system or any system you will find fitting best Embers Adrift, knowing the game style, the purpose of the game, and the existing community. Please share your ideas below as clearly as possible. This is a brainstorming thread. I request that everyone respect everyone else's ID, express themselves with kindness and open-mindedness. Thank you. So basically, if you have feedback related to a possible trade system, please gather all of your ideas in that thread. And if you want to discuss with other players, do it with kindness, respect, and open-mindedness. That's very, very important because sometimes players are afraid to post anything because they enter into a conflict with other player. So I'm really requesting the community in advance to be kind, really be kind and respectful. And if someone disagree or have other idea, and even if that person is not kind, please try to be the better person of the two and to not enter into argumentation. Because we had a lot of problem in the past with people argumenting. I know it's the internet, but let's be better than the internet usually. Let's be the best part of the internet. Let's be the kind and respectful and open-minded part. It's a good exercise not only for the well-being of the community in Embers Adrift, but the overall internet and humankind as well, because more we are acting that way, the better the world will be overall. So it's normal that we don't agree with each other and that we have different ideas and that we might find another idea from someone else bizarre or different or I don't like it. But that doesn't matter. Everyone has the right of expressing their idea, as bizarre they may seem to you. Who knows? Maybe it's a really good idea after all. So anyway, this is a discussion that is open so we can really gather all feedback in one same place. So you have any idea about what the ideal trade system will be in Embers Adrift, and it could be nothing. If your idea is nothing, I prefer to trade person to person or maybe via mail, you can explain that as well. But let's use these threads to gather everything so we have, you know, a nice flow of discussion, and for the dev it will be easier to pick up, you know, the pieces. I'm going to make an argument about adding llama in Embers, the annoying llama. You know what? I've already been suggesting the idea. I'm saying, no, we need llamas in the game. We need a llama boss that spits poison or something. So do you know, Smartbone, that we have already increased the size of the mushroom by 5 times, I think? Or at least 4 times. Because they have been doublet size and then doublet size again. Before they were really teeny. And at first we wanted them to be that way because it was fun to have you look for it. So they're not that hard to watch if you're paying attention. They're not like in your face, but they're not so hard to find. Yeah, the mushroom has been bigger twice already. Well, I understand, because in comparison to other game or how can I say, or node or gathering node are more blending into the area. World of Warcraft will have a shiny effect around saying, so it's really like, hey, take this, but we don't want to do that. We want it to have a sort of activity and a kind of, you need to make a little effort if you want to gather. We wanted you to look for them, so mean. Oh. Yeah, I will agree with what Cyanide is saying, that our game is not really good with accessibility because of the way we design it. It is clearly not really accessibility friendly. That's because we wanted to maintain the immersion of the game. So this will have to be a complete different discussion whether we want to go that route or not. So yeah, for now it is not really accessible. That's true. That's a fact. At the same time, if we add those type of accessibility things like the shiny things around the node or something like that, or the same thing with the night can be very dark even if you put the slider up to the minimum. All of those were made by design because we wanted it to be a feature of the game. But it goes again, accessibility, that's for sure, that there is no discussion with that. So it will be really, do we want to make the game more accessible and then lose in immersion? And having most player putting the flying arrows above their node because it's easier. That's really a different discussion that will take longer. Yeah, well, with the bags, we had it more shiny at first, and then we had the feedback. This is really breaking my immersion. It's too flashy, and we reduced it. So you really do have like two kind of things. Either the game is immersive or it's accessible. At the moment, we have choose the path of immersion, which is anti-accessibility in some way. So I understand that for some people, it's a break dealer. It's a deal breaker. So yeah, it's an interesting discussion to have too. So Dex is saying, no shiny note, please, sorry. Yeah, that's the thing, is that you really have kind of two different paths possible here, which will be to keep the game immersive, where you're really into it, so you have to look for things, you have to make an effort, you have to check Blue Peter to make your way, which is a very intrinsic part of the game design. All those features were not made to annoy players, but to immerse them into a challenging game, which make it not accessible. Because if you want to add accessibility feature, you will need to add a lot of like add-on style of features. So the game is not accessible. Like you cannot categorize as accessibility. You can seem it to be negative for that reason, but at the same time, you cannot do both. You cannot do an immersive game and an accessibility game. So you have to choose one route or the other, because I don't think you can really find a compromise with that, unless you really want to accept that some player will have one experience and some other player will have another experience. So I do believe that overall, it's a very interesting discussion to have. But I do not have any answer for it now, because I think we will need to discuss about that. This is a thread that has been crafted by Zig, by Jarpet Zigran. The Ultimate Juggernaut Class Guide. So of course it will interest you only if you want to play a Juggernaut, but that guide is really well made. Even though I'm not playing a Juggernaut, I've been reading through it because it is really well made. It's very clearly written. It's new and fresh, so it's updated. You will really find it the best source. So thanks, Zig, for creating this. Now everyone will want to have a guide like that for their class, because you will see like it's really nicely made. You have different sections. Everything is written with colors. So it is very clean and very clear. And very useful, and alchemy will be added soon. So check it out. If you're a Juggernaut, it's really good content. If you're playing with a Juggernaut, it might be useful for you to read it as well. Or if you enjoy to lead groups, that's good information for you. So really recommend you to check out the Ultimate Juggernaut Class Guide written by Zig. Zig, which is also taking care of the wiki a lot of the time, that participate a lot to the wiki. Here's the link towards his guides. So we're obviously not reading it during this show, but I recommend you to do it if it's an information that interests you. Yeah, that's it for the community news that I have for this week. So there's a few more words that I would like to say. It's related to the events that happen. So every week we have the weekly community meeting on Discord. I've been talking about it before. If you just arrived, a little summarize. Those community meetings are very important, probably more important than you realize, because it's an occasion to discuss directly with Adrift and with myself, and you are guaranteed that everything that has been said during those meetings that are related to Embers Adrift. We're not sharing the discussion that are out of subject, because that happens too sometimes. We are just socializing and catching up. But everything related to the game itself is being shared in the team meeting, where we are discussing with everyone. And this feedback is very much taken into consideration right after it has been shared. The other weekly event is the trade fair. The trade fair happened on Sunday, and it's not because we have a mail system and that we maybe have a trade system in future that we're stopping the trade fair. The trade fair is also the occasion to meet up with other players. So if you want to do a guild meeting, a role play event, or a duel tournament, or just participate to my silly little games and to have a chance to earn golds, well, join on the trade fair. It's also a great moment to catch up with crafting, put your inventory in order, and it will be nice to have this weekly rendezvous with the whole community. So do not plan dungeons and group content during that time, but come to the trade fair instead. It's every Sunday at 2 p.m. Central American time. It will be the evening for European, and unfortunately the Monday morning for Australian. Annoying Lama asking, you bring another dev into the community stream? No, that's difficult to do because they are not free at that time. So what we are doing is more, I'm recording a discussion before, and then I can play it out here. But most of them are not available during this time. They are working. Yeah. So that's why it's not happening. Yeah, that's why you do have, like for example, when I bring Adrift, it's pre-recorded. If it's Andrew, well, Charlie's or World Builder, well, he's in Australia, so it's really not a good time for him. Oh yes, the merchandise is true that it's not you cannot deliver in Europe. That's very true. That shop is only working for US. Guys, that's it for today. Thank you so very much for participating to the community show. Thanks to everyone that joined the community show on Twitch, ask question and make it a very lively show with active discussion. Thanks for your feedback. Thanks for your ID and your question. There will be a follow-up with that. To everyone that is watching on YouTube, be sure to check out the link in the information box to see the cool stuff I've been sharing and talking to you today. So you will have a very convenient link to lead you directly to that content. Do not hesitate to join us live on Twitch TV. It happened during the maintenance, so every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Europe time, 11 a.m. Central American time. Do not hesitate also to participate to our weekly events, to share your feedback, and to bring your friends with the free trial. Thank you so very much, everyone. You take care of yourself, and I will see you next time. Bye.